Let's speak now to Catherine Loveday, who is a professor of cognitive neuroscience at the University of Westminster in London. Her work focuses on the nature of normal and impaired memory. Great to have you on the News Hour. How real is brain fog? I mean, I confess I have suffered from it over the past year, and I just was speaking to some of my colleagues. We do. We've been impacted by it. We forget things. Our memory isn't as good as it should be some days. It's real, isn't it? Brain fog.
Yeah, so brain fog's an interesting thing in the sense that it's a very subjective experience. So of course, it's not a medical term as such. It's a word that people use to describe that sense of not really being able to grasp a word, not feeling like you can focus and concentrate on things, and yes, sort of struggling with creativity and things. And it is very real. I have to admit, I was quite surprised. When we did our research, we found that over 50% of people are sort of reporting these kind of difficulties in certainly things like forgetting when something happened and not being able to find a word that's on the tip of their tongue and so on.
And, you know, a lot of our reporting has focused on people who have suffered from COVID-19 and the effects that it's had on their memory and their minds. But for people who haven't, tell us about the symptoms of, you know, a whole year of being under lockdown and all the things that we've described just now.
Yeah, so I think it's really important to distinguish people who've actually had COVID-19, but even we're seeing even in people who haven't, they are experiencing very specifically. People are finding that they can't get a word; it's not coming to mind. They're finding it really hard to concentrate and to focus on things, and they feel like they're really forgetful. So particularly can't remember what order things happened in. They're forgetting conversations that they've had. And a lot of this is related to what you said earlier on, that we're having all of our conversations in exactly the same place. And so we haven't got that sense of variety that we might if we were having one conversation in the office and another one in the park and another one at home.
And what does this constant state of vigilance do to your mind, your nervous system? You know, I, for one, I'm always looking at who's got their mask on, is it on their chin, and just a constant anxiety about windows being open, just that constant state of nervousness.
Yeah, so that's partly nervousness and anxiety, but it's also, I think, that it takes up quite a lot of cognitive capacity. So we only have a limited number of things that we can hold in our mind and think about at any one time. And if a lot of that space is being taken up by the kinds of concerns that you've just described, worried about things and worried about what might happen next and worrying about who's wearing their mask and did you remember to bring your own and those kinds of things, that's actually taking up brain space. It's kind of occupying our thoughts, which means that we have got less space spare to be kind of thinking about the other things that are important, like being creative and doing our work or wondering about our family.
So how can we, you know, fight through this mental fog and exhaustion and protect our minds right now?
I suppose the important thing to recognise is that there are a lot of individual differences. So some people are massively understimulated and have got nothing going on in their life, and other people have got too much going on in their life. So it's about trying to find that balance again. Physical exercise seems to be really, really important, and not just physical exercise, but moving. So moving around our environment. And although that's really tricky for some people, they're in very small spaces, they maybe don't have access to green space, just introducing what variety we can. So maybe even just changing the pictures that are up on the wall, or bringing some new flowers into the room, anything to just kind of bring variety in. But really looking after ourselves, keeping ourselves calm, trying to manage the anxiety and trying to keep active and moving around is really important.
Thank you so much. Really great to get your scientific expertise there. Catherine Loveday from the University of Westminster in London. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.